How's it going, beautiful people? I must say, it is always a beautiful day when the sun is out. We've just had so much fog and it's lasted so long. Today feels like a spring day. It's great. Starting my walk. Last time I was on here, I was talking about embracing the silence. I'm fairly doing pretty good at it. Um, but I do have things to say here and there. So right now on my walk, I was like, okay, do I want to get on here and talk today? And what do I want to talk about? And another off the cuff episode. So I think the bottom line of what I want to talk about without getting into too many details is basically about this whole not caring what other people think. And I can't think of it right now. I may have talked on another episode about this years ago, maybe even like 2 years ago or something like that. I think it was called about zero fucks. The thing about all of this, people with this mindset sort of thing, if you are not a very assertive or direct person, which is something I had to learn. I wanted to learn it, but I learned on my own because that's not my personality. And just know that you can learn it, because sometimes you see people, or you meet people and you're like, I don't know, you think that's how they always were. Or, I was more so like, when I saw the benefits of it, I was like, I want to be like that. Like, how do I be like that? What can I do? So, getting to that point of giving zero fucks and not caring what other people think, not taking what they say, okay, personally or whatever it is, running with it, just going, really running with it. And that takes, I feel like it's taken most of my life to get to that point, even though I hear people have said that all the time. I've heard it a lot, who cares, blah, blah, blah. Or people have said, I wish I didn't care so much what other people think, all these sorts of things. But from my perspective, nobody really that I had listened to or talked to, like, said the how. Like, how do you do that? And I would say I'm definitely, again, not perfect, right? So I've gotten to a point where, yes, I can do this, but there's points that I feel like I'm still back there. And something happened a few weeks ago, which, like I said, I don't want to get into the details sometimes, because sometimes the details aren't necessary, right? They really aren't. Too many words. And I also think it energetically puts the vibration out in our voice, right? Talking about it. So it's not just I believe it, I know it to be true. I hope you guys can hear this over this loud ass fountain behind me and all the nasty bird shit you should see. Maybe they clean it regularly, but there is so much splattered in front of me. I need to get up because I'm disgusted staring at it. But then it's going to affect my recording probably. So the experience of, basically it comes back to, like I said, the not caring what other people think, but you have to be strong enough and confident in yourself to believe that, and to, like I said, not run with these thoughts that, you walk away with, these things people say that might not necessarily be very positive. And so that's number one. And then the number two, with the just being yourself, people, like, keep it 100. But you also, in doing that, you have to be confident in that. Being confident in whatever it is that you are, maybe you are giving information, maybe you're teaching, maybe you're giving advice on another level, whatever it is that you're doing in your, your belief systems and who you are, and being genuine, and me admitting like how much I cry over some stuff that's like, I don't know, I judge and get mad at myself. That's what this is about too, getting mad at myself. And I feel like I energetically cause like more negativity to myself. It's like, I don't want to create more pain inside of myself, you know? Yes, it gives me information, but I don't want to willingly do that, especially when it jeopardizes my success. So I walked away from this event like, what the fuck was that for? Like, why did that happen? Like, I feel like in some levels, I don't need more challenges. I know that there are going to be, but if there's certain areas that I feel like I've surpassed, or, I just don't react the same, so I feel more at peace. Like, why is this coming? Is this what it is before the storm, they say? So my advice in trying to keep this little episode short and advising, meaning just like, what's a helpful tip that I would give to any of you, because I feel like it's a process you have to go through. You could even agree with what I'm saying, but like, you're still learning it too. Is that, again, if you haven't listened to me before, being such an introvert, just the fact that, I wasn't ever taught how, like a lot of us, how to resolve conflict. I usually, right, would just hold it all in and then stop talking to the person, the friend, or whatever it is, or we would just not, right? We might not ever even talk again, or we just won't talk for weeks, and then we never really go back and fix or squash whatever the problem was. So you're holding all this resentment. So because I've learned how to do it now on a compassionate level, and just like, I don't even care, I was telling somebody almost 50 years old, like, just be direct and just ask somebody like, hey, are you mad at me? The worst that can happen is maybe they say yes, and then I can be like, okay, well, what I do? What happened? Like, you make an effort to work it out and figure it out, if you love each other. So not caring what other people think, be yourself. And if you are sensitive and you want to, you cry, or you want a hug, or something like that, like, be direct and be willing to do that, with the right person, right? We all have those different kinds of friends and levels of friends. And, maybe the acquaintance person you're not going to share everything with, like, whatever that is. But to walk away from being myself is, I also can't control what other people think and or say of me. I can be being of love, being of godliness or holiness, or just, again, being of love, being myself, doing good, and the opposite can happen, right? Negativity towards that person that I am. But I just try to mind myself of that Mother Teresa. It's do good anyway. I don't know whether it's not really necessarily a poem, but she had one. I have that posted. And then I think of Gandhi, and I think of all these other people that were, sometimes, like I said, hated on. And maybe even what the monks are doing, there's always going to be somebody having a comment and opinion. And I know this, right? I know this. But for some reason, I got triggered and it hurt me so bad enough to the level to basically, like I said, I think it was blocking my success. And maybe I needed to do some more journaling and talking about it, since it brought me to this episode now, to just say it plainly. It's really easy though to say, like, for me to say, give zero fucks, who gives a fuck, don't care what other people think. And it's not necessarily, maybe it is still some remnants of being a people pleaser, but yes, I mean, maybe it does, right? Because I'm still caring, but at the same time, it doesn't mean like it's not going to hurt me. So maybe there'll be a time where this kind of stuff, where again, just in my head, just fuck off. Like, that's all that I can do, my mindset and my attitude. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep reverting backwards. There's already depression enough going on in the world, or me worrying about the world, or worrying about people, or whatever it is. So it's a choice, right? Choice to do and be different. So I'm going to leave you with that, is that if this is an area that you struggle in, I could probably give you some more specifics on what I mean about being confident, but it is a process and you may not learn it for years. I don't even really know that. I know that after, so self-defense was around 35 with Krav Maga, and then I learned all the verbal and the boundary setting. It felt like I became more confident right away, but as far as executing it, I had to practice it. So don't be too hard on yourself. It could take years. Growing those balls to just stand up for yourself and be yourself, that is a challenge. Sometimes from our upbringing, a lot of it has been from our upbringing. And again, with me, it was the people pleasing. So there are steps to getting there, and be willing to face the consequence. But is the consequence really that bad? When you think about it, would you label it that bad, or did it turn out to be something good? Right? Okay, thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video.